Hello, lovely people out there. Good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to come your way with this wonderful program. On Inside View, we touch on so many topics, and the topic that we are about to talk about is no exception. I've been in Bradford for some time, and I chanced upon this amazing initiative, and I'm thinking, this is worth investigating into, and also worth just making it more loud, for more people to join in this. I was saying, this wonderful scheme. And so, this afternoon, I have with me a wonderful young man who has taken the world by storm with this amazing initiative. So, without wasting too much time, I'll invite my guest, Mr. Peter Kemp, who is the founder of Citizen Coin. Peter, how are you? And welcome to the Inside View.
Oh, hi, Nana. Really good to meet you. Yeah, I'm great, thank you. How's you?
I'm very, very well. Thank you. Thanks for asking too. Yeah. I'll say that, just like I said, Citizen Coin is doing amazing well in Bradford. But unfortunately, a lot of people still don't know about Citizen Coin. But before you talk about the Citizen Coin, we just want you to talk about, Peter Camp. Who are you, and why the Citizen Coin, please?
Okay. I suppose the most relevant stuff is I started my own business about 22 years ago, involving what I call a career in public engagement technologies. So originally it was about websites and getting businesses onto websites when most businesses didn't have websites. And then from there, and doing graphic design and that sort of thing. I don't do any of the good stuff. I just talk about it and join dots together. And then, so I had designers working with me then. We then started going into live video streaming back in about 2007, 2008. Interactive live video streaming, sort of really before the BBC iPlayer and that sort of thing. Then from there, we did mobile phone technologies, SMS and MMS messaging, putting stuff from people's phones onto big screens at stadiums and festivals. We then started running augmented reality projects. So where people would use their camera, roll it over a poster, and the poster would talk to them. Another way of communicating with the public. Then about 7 years ago, I was working with a bunch of people over in Hull who mentioned the idea of building some form of social currency. And we did some investigating around how social currencies may or may not work, and using technology to deliver to more people, to all people at a lower cost, maximizing budgets, I suppose. And we eventually, over a period of time, developed what has become the Citizen Coin model.
Oh, wow. So the Citizen Coin, in other words, it's a social coin. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the Citizen Coin itself is a digital token that we call a coin. A bit like a cryptocurrency, except unlike a cryptocurrency, this has no financial value itself. It isn't intrinsically worth anything. The real value of the coin is the social good or the social value that's been created or completed in order to earn the token. That's really the principle. So we have mobile phone apps and we have a website. And then people with their mobile phone apps select activities which are posted on there by charities, voluntary sector, schools, colleges, training organizations, and some health organizations. And they post activities on there which help improve people's lives, either by sharing and helping others or by improving their own development, if you like. And they're rewarded at key stages through the process with citizen coins by the agencies who post the activities online, both on the app and on the website. And then with those citizen coins, individuals can go along to local retail who also post on the same site and on the same app and say, right, for one of your citizen coins, you can have £3 off this cup of coffee or £20 off this haircut or £15 off this therapy session, or 10% off your MOT, or 20% off your school uniform, and it goes on like that. So it's a kind of a marketplace which marries social good with retail, connects communities back to local retail. That's the principle of it.
Oh wow! So, what motivated you to come up with this scheme? Because you might.
It's not just purely me. It's been in development now for 7 years.
Oh, okay.
And I've worked with a range of people over that time. People originally from Hull City Council, people from Bradford Council, from Eindhoven. I've been involved in a lot of public engagement stuff, and the initial concept really intrigued me. It seemed like a win-win-win sort of organizations who do great stuff can communicate and contact and reward people for doing the great stuff that they do. So organizations win, the individual wins because they end up with a social currency, which means they can obtain discount from retailers and service providers across their area. So you've got two wins there. The retailer benefits because it attracts trade. It's a free advertising website for them, a free marketing website. All the activity is tracked. So the retailer ends up with a corporate social responsibility report, a mechanism for that. The individual ends up with a social CV, which is carries a historical record of all the great things they've done, which is really nice for career development. And the organizations themselves have got an accurate record of all their outputs, of all the activities that have been achieved when and where. So it's a concept that started off very vague, and over years of trialing it, we first piloted the scheme over in Hull in East Yorkshire on a small scale in selected postcode areas. And our learnings from that, we developed and refined the system. And then we also did the same in Eindhoven in the Netherlands and refined that. And then I suppose that the version 3 of all of this is over in Bradford, in the Bradford district. And Bradford Council, we presented to Bradford Council, and they really liked the idea. They could see it really quite early on, the potential benefits. So we ran initially a pilot scheme, which ran for 1 year. It was meant to be 2 years, but of course, COVID got in the way.
Yeah.
And so it's something that's evolved. It's I suppose my analogy on this is like, we can all have ideas, you know. I like the idea of a hoverboard, but getting from the idea of having a hoverboard to actually how it practically works, how you sell it, what the value is, how you introduce it to people, that's a whole that takes time. So that's kind of where we're from. And at the moment, we've run for a full year in Bradford, and it's been really successful.
Wonderful. 70, like over 70 businesses have currently signed up. And how does it benefit them and us, we the customers? Because
we've actually now signed up. We've now signed up almost 150 businesses in the year. And we've also signed up the local authorities, some of their service provisions. So their sports centres, their leisure facilities, people could get discount off swimming lessons or off gym membership or yoga, and soon going to the theatre and that sort of thing. The benefit for outside the local authority, the benefit for the retailer is, I suppose, in their quiet times, they can post an offer for people to come and get into their retail place, and use that not necessarily as a loss leader, but use it as a way of attracting people into their premise. And when people are actually in a place exercising their discount, so if you go to a cafe and the cafe for a £3.90 coffee, you can have that for £1 with one of your citizen coins, which are exchanged digitally via a scanning process, QR code scanner. While you're in there and you spent your £1, you look around and sure enough, there's some really nice cakes or some other really nice food, and you say, well, actually, I'll have one of those too. So it kind of upsells a little bit for the retailer, and it benefits the individual because they're getting discount on things that they would normally buy, which makes the money in their pocket go further.
Wonderful. So what can we do to have more citizen coins?
Sorry, what was that again?
So what can we do to have more citizen coins, please?
Oh, there's a whole range of stuff. So on the website and on the mobile phone app, you will see a range of activities there. everything from volunteering for local groups, like in Bradford, we've got organisations doing great stuff across Bradford called Bradford for Better, or Volunteering Bradford, or Cabad. There's a whole range of organisations who undertake volunteering. We have schools on there who do volunteering projects or reward students for participation in various activities. So you effectively have a marketplace in which you can scan and choose something that may suit yourself, either to volunteer to help others or volunteer in order for your own personal development. So there are training programs on there and education programs on there for which you can earn citizen coins. And shortly there will be health-based projects on there. So maybe quitting smoking, you could get rewarded for that in stages, or maybe social mixing, or maybe helping to lose weight, or maybe creating a better diet for yourself. So there's a whole range of activities which you can get involved in, and that is expanding all the time. So our original target was to have 30 organizations that did great stuff, and they would advertise on there. We're now up to 83 organizations across Bradford alone who are offering stuff, with 2, 3, 4 joining each week. Our next major push is into the colleges and schools as well. So Bradford District, for example, has over 100,000 school children at a range of schools. So if those schools come on board, and they can reward their students for doing great stuff, either at the school or out in the communities. So there's a whole range of ways that people can interact, and it's pretty much open to all. So it doesn't really matter what age group you are, what demographic you are. We try to make it as open as possible to everyone.
Oh, wonderful. So how can a consumer, sign up to, like people like us, maybe in the community, how can they sign up?
Okay, you would, if you're an individual, you would search for the Citizen Coin app on the usual places. So you would go to the iOS store, or you would go to the Android store and search for Citizen Coin. The icon comes up there with 2 C's like that. That's it. And you search for that one. You download your app. You sign up, and then you can join the platform. At the moment, because this has been funded initially by Bradford Council, it's within the Bradford district, not just Bradford Centre itself, but the whole district. We are in conversation with Leeds at the moment, and Liverpool, and Hull, and Wakefield, and Salford to expand it initially across the M62. But our plan for this is, over the next 5 years, is to have it definitely across the whole of the UK, and then in other parts of the world too, on a license basis. So we license the product to local authorities, or charities, or education groups, or health services, and then they market it in their area, and then people get involved.
That sounds too good. This initiative can really help, or like as we all know, has really improved businesses as well as consumers. And just like you said, Bradford for Better, have already been volunteering and trying to make Bradford a better place. So I think one of the initiatives that they keep doing is they keep cleaning in the Bradford Mall, parks, and so many things. So what is the long-term goal for Citizen Coin? I know you said maybe like globally, but then strategically, what is the long-term goal for Citizen Coin?
I think the really big picture stuff here, Nana, is, and this is why I really, really love it, and I'm passionate about it, is that it helps individuals, it helps retail, it helps organizations, it helps local authority, it helps governance. So the bigger picture is that, and behind this is the data. Okay, so if you have a region which is, and let me rewind. Evidencing social value is really difficult. Okay, and what this comes under is social value. When people do good things, it's a part of the social value, and it's very hard to evidence. So, for example, in the UK, the Office for National Statistics reckon that each year, people volunteering for registered voluntary organisations, that economy is worth £26 billion. That is a massive economy, but it's really hard to quantify, really difficult. because everyone's in little groups. They're on producing their own reports. It's very difficult to assemble. No one knows what's completely going on. The idea behind Citizen Coin is when you have mass adoption, is that local authorities can see various demographics and what the activity, this kind of activity, is going on across their district. It could be in a health context, so you can see across a district where there may be health issues, where there may be poor dietary issues, how you can improve those, how we can develop those. So I suppose the aim of the whole thing is to start joining things together, to start working across boundaries. So business works with community, so local authority works with both. So health services work with the local authority and business and the communities. So employment and the DWP do exactly the same. So the bigger picture is really quite massive. But this appeals, I suppose, to anyone who has a health journey or an education journey or a training journey or a volunteering journey or a participation journey, which is pretty much the whole of the public. And I think where we come into this particular market is because at the moment, there's no way of quantifying that at all. And the importance of quantifying it, I suppose, is because I suppose if we link it now to the cost of living crisis, which we're just hitting the tip of. So the cost of living crisis for lots of families who are either below the breadline, who are really struggling, or just about to be tipped over into that because they can't afford the fuel, or they can't afford the food, or they can't afford the school uniform. This mechanism gives those families an opportunity to obtain discount. So you can get discount off your school uniform, discount off your food, discount off things, which makes the money in your pocket go further. It also evidences and produces for the individual all the great stuff that they've contributed. So for their employment journey and for interview journeys and for their education journeys, they can evidence all the great stuff that they do. The voluntary agencies who do fantastic work all over the place, it saves them resource on having to identify and measure their outputs, because if they use this mechanism, every time they reward somebody, that data is captured for them, the time, the place, and what the nature of the work was. So it helps as an evidencing platform for that.
Wow. So throughout, there's one year journey. What has been the highlights, of Citizen Coin?
I think the most important part about this is about people. It's about communities. I think Bradford Council, local authorities aren't known for being risk takers for good reason. And with this particular project, they took a bit of a punt because it's quite innovative. Yeah. And they were the first local authorities to do this as well, with Citizen Coin in particular, with this particular model. And working with the team that I work with at Bradford Council and still continue to work with, they're quite phenomenal through stronger communities, Bradford for Everyone. They're really engaging and they're really passionate about what we do and what we deliver, and they've been really strong advocates. I suppose that's been really encouraging to work with teams of people who are doing that. They now have someone on the ground, Jabu, who's out everywhere talking to community groups, talking to retailers, and building this community up. I suppose a highlight has been seeing it start from a standing start pretty much this year to onboarding nearly 2,000 people to date in its first trial year, to being way over target. That's all good to see positive evidence, and then hearing the stories, hearing people's stories. So we've had people say this has genuinely helped me into employment. I was in other instances, I got a bit isolated before, and I wasn't really mixing very much, and I felt not very confident. And by doing this, I started mixing with people, and my confidence is building. So it's all the human stories. That's the bit that's really exciting. Obviously, it's also really exciting that the local authority are really pleased with all the outputs so far, and are looking to build this as not as a one-off project, but as a part of what they actually do, as a part of what they do as everyday business. So there's lots of wins, really. There's been lots of wins.
I mean, this is so amazing. To hear people sharing their positive stories on this initiative. I'm so proud of this initiative. It sounds too good to be true. So what are your plans in trying to replicate or sell this idea to the whole nation? Because we've got Leeds, we've got Manchester, we've got what
Liverpool,
yeah, I mean Liverpool,
Hull.
London.
I think that the process is we build out more in Bradford, because at the moment we want a large chunk of the population to have this. So first of all, it was about using it and making sure people were happy with the technology and that it was easy to use, and that and we constantly get feedback on that and develop what we do. And then it's about, in order to do something like this, we're doing something quite dramatic. Okay, so I suppose if you think about Facebook, everybody knows Facebook. But when Facebook took 6-7 years before it got any kind of public penetration, before it was really adopted, before friends recommended it to friends. So these things take time, because we're on about a culture change. You're on about, we've all got loads of apps on our phones that we never use. So it's about making sure that we keep the kettle boiling, that there's reason for people to use it. And that is a slower progress. So the next part is to keep that going, which is going really well and way ahead of all the targets that were set by Bradford Council. To engage other departments, not just the volunteering. So we're in discussion with NHS to look at rewarding people for other stuff. For, as I mentioned before, for what will come under for Living Well campaign, which is running in Bradford, which is a great campaign about making people healthier physically and mentally, prolonging their lives, putting less of a drain on the health service, because you're not poorly as often.
Yeah.
So there's that area to go into too. So it's about building out in Bradford, and then developing the same thing or a similar thing, because each district is different and each area has its own needs. So we have the flexibility within what we're doing, because we've designed it all, to be able to change it to suit each area as well. So it's about growing that understanding too. Our vision on that is to have teams of people in each district. So we'll have a team in Bradford, a team in Leeds, a team in Liverpool, a team in Salford, a team in Hull, a team in Wakefield, all the way around. So local people deliver this locally. So it's not, we don't do it from where we're based. It's done in each location. We provide the tool, which is the digital tool, which is the Citizen Coin platform. And then we give the consultancy, and we go around and we help people join the dots from our experience and pull in all the relevant stakeholders and help them with their marketing materials. And it's about growing it initially that way. And then I suppose really to grow it at massive scale, it would be about introducing it to lots of local authorities or lots of the NHS services themselves. So for instance, on the 28th of June, we've been invited to the local government innovation presentations in Harrogate. And at that point, we will meet lots of other local authorities. One of our aims, because Bradford is first, is to develop the Academy of Social Value, which explains to groups, individuals, retailers, local authorities, how to measure social value, the importance of social value, how to stimulate good feeling within communities, how to capture that good feeling as well, evidence it, and how to use that hopefully to get resource from central government or from wherever else, because you can evidence what's going on in your area, and you can highlight maybe where there's deficiency and more funding is required. So the idea is to have an Academy of Social Value based in Bradford. It's nice and central on the M62 and in the UK, as far as that goes. So it's a perfect spot. And in Bradford, because they're ahead of the game, they understand it more than anywhere else. And they've learned themselves how to deliver it and what's to go on. So my direct involvement with Bradford, apart from speaking to leaders, I suppose, in a way, or heads of departments in a way, and occasionally, obviously going to schools and doing other stuff. Bradford itself, it's starting to run itself in Bradford now, even though it's early days, and it's becoming self-sustainable. So that's the aim: it's like local communities and local government take the thing over, understand it, and work it, and keep working it. That's the idea.
Interesting, because I understand the fact that you want to actually, base locally, by trying to nurture it, and also I'm trying to measure, the social good, of this, wonderful initiative. I'll say that, look, as soon as I put this flyer out, I mean, straight away, I had people from various countries wanting to, I'll say, patronize this initiative in their countries. And I'm thinking, I've not yet spoken to Peter, so I don't know whether maybe he might be interested in traveling, maybe across the world, maybe to sell this idea, maybe to various countries and see how this can work. Because obviously, trying to bring I would say retailers and the consumers together, it sounds so wonderful, and also the social good attached to it. It's unbelievable. So my next question is, would you mind maybe trying to bring other countries maybe on board, maybe Ghana, Nigeria, who seem so interested in your scheme?
Oh, we'd love to do that. Yeah, without a doubt, we would love to do that. We see it as a really positive, valuable mechanism for no matter where you are in the world, any communities, every community we feel could benefit from that. That's the way we've modeled it. And working with any place overseas will be a delight, even if it's initial finding out how it works, a little bit of education on the technology, a little bit of understanding about what goes on in each region, so we can maybe look at, and that's the way this works. We get feedback from who we're working with. And when we get that feedback, what works in one area doesn't necessarily work the same in another area. And it's working out how that works. So there's quite a process involved in that. No, we'd love to have this in Africa. Of course we would. We've got a conversation with an organization in Bahrain at the minute. Literally, it's one of those things. It was literally a conversation that came about. And there's an organization who do digital wallets, and they love the idea of being able to evidence social value, which is something they don't do, because they recognize in that particular context and in Egypt that that they've evidenced that there is a need for people to show and demonstrate the great stuff that they do as well, and for governments and organizations to realize the value of that.
Wow. With your business background, like over the years, what will be your advice to any young person out there, especially in this economic climate that things are so hard? What kind of advice would you want to give to a young person that is willing to take a risk, maybe to bring out a wonderful initiative like yours? What kind of advice would you want to give to that person?
The first thing is I suppose to back yourself, to believe in yourself, and don't necessarily expect to make a quick killing on this either. To try and do something that you enjoy. So if you're into music, really love music, try something new in music. If you're into community stuff, do it that way. If it's sport, do it that way. If it's academia, do it that way. Whatever it is, first of all, be passionate about it yourself, and it makes life easier. If you have to do that while you're trying to work or go to college or do something else at the same time, that's fine. That's standard. Build it for yourself. Get a model working slowly. Learn as you go along, but get something working locally. See if you can get a few local people interested, first of all. Seek advice. See who else is out there. Network. Networking's massive. If you can network, whether it's online or it's actually physically meeting people, that can really advance what you're doing. And never give in. Never give in.
Yes, I know. I could say you're a proper community person, because everything that you do, revolves around your community. I don't know, because most of us, is either we don't know too much about what's going on in Bradford, or we just want to live in isolation, even though we are here. So what kind of advice do you want to give to us for us to be all in tune with what is going on in the city? Because it looks like there's so many amazing stuff that's going on here that most of us, we don't know. So what can be done? Not necessarily just on the council's website, but in future, I think they should go a little bit beyond, the council's website, where they can spread some of these information across that can be accessible to everybody. I don't know, but if you have anything to say to that.
It's really difficult, isn't it? Because there are so many different apps, there are so many different information points which are competing with each other. It's and this happens everywhere. The stuff that's going on where you would think, surely Facebook somebody locally must have posted this on Facebook and everyone must see it. So I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. I think, I mean, within the app, the next stage of development with the app is you select your preferences, and when there's something relevant to that. So if you like music and you like live music and you're in this postcode area and 10 miles around, you say, I want to be notified if there are any offers to be able to get in to go and see this band or this thing for a bit of a discount, then it would push and promote that. Apart from that, I don't know. There are so many things competing with each other. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the local press, council websites. I don't know. Is the answer to that? I really don't know.
Fine, that's fine. What would you say to someone out there who is now considering joining the scheme? I think that'll be our final question.
Go to the website. The first one up there at the moment is bradford.citizencoin.uk. There's a little introductory video on there that shows you a volunteer's journey and how you get rewarded and how you cash your rewarding at a retailer. You can sign up through that particular platform. You can see the activities that are currently on there. You can see all the retail offers that are currently on there. You could contact us directly and say, look, we're this organization, can we come on board as well? If you are an organization, you can make suggestions as to how you would improve what's going on, and we're always looking to improve. We're far from got it completely nailed, and I don't think we ever will, because it's a constant moving platform. So get on board, have a look. It doesn't matter, even if you can't. If you are in different parts of the world, that's totally fine. You can still sign up. You can still have a look. And if you're interested, contact us. There's an email address on there. Send your contact info over. And if we can help, we will do.
Okay, so can various organizations use your logo? Once they've signed up to it, can they use your logo? In their
yeah, they can, absolutely. We'd like them to. We'd like them to link us to their Facebook profile. So everything on there you can link to social media. So when you've completed an activity, you can link that to social media. The retail offers you can. So yeah, the use of the logo and everything is absolutely fine as long as you're on the platform and you're recognised. Then you're allowed to use the logo. We are particular about the rewarding agencies. So that process itself, we make sure that the rewarding agencies are genuine, because there's a safeguarding issue there. We can't have people offering discount coins out for various activities without knowing that the organization. That's really important. To that degree, everybody's data is protected as well. So the local authority, who can see macro data, can't nail the data down to an individual. We don't sell people's data. We don't data scrape. So if you're using this and this is your pattern of use, we don't sell that on to somebody else. Everything's anonymized. It's really, really important that your data is your own. If you want to show it, you can show it. But it's each individual, each citizen should own their own data.
Wow, that's very, very honorable thing to do, because we have yes.
Well, I think things like, if say you're on Facebook, you've been looking for a pair of shoes that morning, and you go on Facebook, and sure enough, there's adverts for shoes dropping in all over the place. Yeah. That's because they've scraped your data, okay, and therefore they know what to do. The algorithm picks it up and it drops it in place for you. I think we should be paid for that. I think if we have preferences, I think marketing companies should get in touch via a platform like Citizen Coin. Say, hey, look, we've got these range of shoes. Do your women aged between 15 and 55, would they be interested in this range of? So then we pop out through the app. This is further down the line. Would you be interested? And on giving your opinion on this at least. And if they say yes, then the company pays them for giving their opinion. I think it should work that way.
Wow. This is so wonderful. Thank you so much, Peter. I would like also to say very big thank you to Jabu for spreading this wonderful news all over. I just chanced them, like on her, and then she just sold this idea to me. And here we are talking about, the Citizen Coin. So
Jabu's wonderful. Jabu's ace. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you wherever you are, Jabu. Thank you. And I know Bradford, we are coming out so strongly. And I mean, trust me, Citizen Coin. I think I've already signed up to it, so I'm going to use it now, henceforth, on my logos, for people to see Citizen Coin on my flyers as well. So on that note, thank you so much. So what are your final words? I mean, finally, to anybody watching out today, what do you want to say to them, Peter, please, before we end?
I don't know. I think it just be. I hope this whole thing does some good, and I think it will. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's really hard. There are so many negative things in life and surrounding us, and with this, it's really hard to find a negative. I'm sure people will try, but it's really hard to nail a negative. So the idea of this is that everybody wins, and that's it really.
Thank you so much. I've got one lady on the line, Jennifer at Mango. As she said, I'm just having lunch, came in late. Thank you so much. I know it's lunchtime, so people are busy eating and or maybe doing other stuff. But thank you so much for anybody who managed to tune in. It's been a wonderful discussion. I've gotten to know more about Citizen Coin, and I'm going to spread the news as well. Anybody wanting to be in touch with Peter for more discussions, especially those of you from Ghana who want to know more about it, I think I'm going to link you up with him, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah. So
Brilliant.
We want to spread the social good and make sure that we do more positive things in our community. Yeah. So thank
Absolutely.
you so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Yeah,
Cheers.
I've got Jabu here also. It goes good initiative. So and I've got a lot of people. I've got Dr. I've got Jaira Awukano also saying good initiative, and it goes we wish we have one in Coventry. Yeah, we've got also another one actually watching us from Coventry. So
Brilliant.
People have done well actually watching us. So thank you everyone who managed to tune in. I know it's lunchtime, people are busy, but thank you. I know people are going to watch it later. Make time, those who are not able to join in this discussion, please make time and watch it. And I know Citizens Coin will go far, and you're all going to be partakers of this amazing initiative. So thank you so much, Peter. I keep thanking you because people keep on just doing stuff. So thank you so much.
All right, cheers now. Really good to meet you. Thank you.
Oh yes, my pleasure. Okay, bye-bye.